Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're bypassing the present and jumping straight into fall 2026.
We are.
Kodansha just dropped their first wave of new manga licenses. And I mean, if these three titles are any indication, we are looking at one of the most creatively diverse lineups in years.
It really is a crucial glimpse into the near future of publishing, especially for you, the reader, if you want to know where to, focus your attention.
Right.
We have articles, internal notes, publisher summaries, and they all promise this fantastic blend of thrills and whimsy.
And I think that description barely scratches the surface.
It really does. I mean, we're covering the extreme ends of the genre spectrum here. We've got a highly complex psychological thriller, a deeply heartwarming slice of life, and then a title that is just pure, unadulterated absurdity.
I love that. It's like they designed a lineup that's guaranteed to give you whiplash. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
We have to start with the announcement that generated the most immediate buzz, the one with the truly sinister premise, AIDOL.
Yeah, AIDOL is absolutely positioning itself as the high-intensity prestige genre title of the season.
It sounds like an intentional effort to just subvert the entire idol genre. This isn't about, sparkly songs and choreography.
No, not at all.
It's described as a gripping, highly sinister exploration of obsession and fandom gone utterly terrifyingly wrong. And the creative, Team Kazuanabe, Yu Kureishi, and Kutanaka, that immediately signals this is serious business.
That team speaks volumes. But what really sets the stage, I think, is the direct comparison being made in the material. They're saying this is essentially a psychological crossover between Death Note and the legendary Satoshi Kon film, Perfect Blue.
Wow, that is a massive claim.
It's a huge one.
I mean, Death Note gives us that high-stakes cat-and-mouse intellectual chess game, and then Perfect Blue is, well, it's the ultimate nightmare vision of celebrity obsession and identity just disintegrating. So if they actually pull off blending those two, that means the story isn't just about surface-level stalking. It's about control, influence, the destruction of a person from the inside out.
That's it. We know the central narrative follows a troubled admirer of a struggling idol. His fixation starts as, unhealthy.
Yeah, sure.
But it quickly spirals into something much darker, something supernatural.
Yeah.
But the sinister element isn't just the obsession itself, it's the power it manifests.
Okay, tell us about that power, because this is where the premise elevates from, like, a standard thriller to a high-concept societal threat.
Right. The admirer transforms into this daunting, almost spectral entity, and his specific ability is to manipulate and control the global electrical grid.
Wait, the whole grid?
The entire grid. Think about that for a second. This isn't just a localized personal terror. This is an omnipotent digital stalker who can plunge cities into darkness, alter stock markets, or, just make a traffic light malfunction right before a critical moment.
He goes from being a creepy fan to a full-on infrastructural threat.
Exactly. All in the service of his fixation.
That is genuinely unsettling. It perfectly marries that, old fear of celebrity surveillance with the hyper-modern vulnerability of our digital infrastructure.
Yeah.
A stalker who can literally watch you through every powered device and influence every aspect of your public life. And his motive, this is the real gut punch, is that he is determined to catapult his idol to stardom regardless of her wishes.
Which is such a sharp critique of the industry itself. It's a forced ascent.
A forced ascent, yeah.
He is basically puppeteering her career path, making sure she gets the big roles, the sold-out concerts, the headline news, all through this supernatural manipulation. The success isn't really hers.
No, it's his creation. And what makes this so much more chilling is the suggestion that this forced trajectory comes with a terrifying, inevitable cost.
It does.
We're talking about dark twists and shocking outcomes reminiscent of the Final Destination series.
And I was initially a bit skeptical of that comparison. Final Destination is about chaotic fate, where interference leads to these Rube Goldberg-esque accidents.
Right.
But when you apply it here, it implies a karmic consequence for defying free will. Every time the idol takes a step closer to the fame her admirer wants for her, that manipulation ensures a horrific correction or disaster has to happen.
So you're maintaining the psychological cost of his interference.
Exactly.
So we're basically watching a tragic horror movie unfold in slow motion, where the lead character is succeeding professionally only because a supernatural entity is actively ruining her life, and probably the lives of those around her.
It turns the entire concept of celebrity success into a Faustian bargain she never even agreed to.
Wow.
It raises some really profound questions about agency, ownership, and the price of manufactured fame. AIDOL.
No.
It doesn't sound like a series you read casually.
No.
It sounds like one you dissect. And frankly, that level of thematic density and sinister execution is exactly what the psychological thriller market needs right now.
Okay. Wow. That is intense. We absolutely need a cleanser after sitting in that level of psychological darkness.
We do.
Let's talk about the title that promises the literal opposite, NakiNagi.
The tonal shift is palpable. NakiNagi is being sold as a pure restorative experience. It's a tale of friendship, emotional discovery, and the publisher promises a 1,000% wholesome experience.
Which is a metric I fully support.
Me too.
That specific percentage is highly reassuring, and we pretty much know what we're getting into because this comes from Kiigo Maki.
Right, the creator who brought us Shikimori's Not Just a Cutie.
Exactly. So that context is vital.
It is. Maki has mastered the art of low-stakes, high-emotion narrative, creating characters who feel really deeply and whose small personal victories feel, well, they feel monumental.
So if you loved Shikimori's gentle humor and endearing relationship dynamics...
Then NakiNagi is set to deliver that same sense of warmth and comfort.
Okay, so who are the anchors of this wholesome experience? We have this unlikely duo at the center.
We do. First, we have Nikika. She is a once-feared witch who decides to transition to the surface world.
A classic fish-out-of-water scenario, but with a magical twist.
And then there's Nagisa, the perfectly normal human counterpart who just happens to be completely love-struck and, navigating the confusing world of high school crushes.
Right.
But what's compelling here is that Nikika isn't leaving the magical world for, romance. She's driven by a deeper, more intellectual curiosity. Her true quest is to understand the messy, complex, and often contradictory world of human emotions.
Empathy, jealousy, joy, heartbreak.
All of it.
It's a wonderful storytelling mechanism, using a witch, an outsider who has actual magical powers, to observe human emotions.
Yes.
It means the story can analyze feelings from this fresh, almost academic distance.
Yes.
She can help with a love spell, maybe, but she doesn't understand why Nagisa cares so much about the outcome.
Exactly. The real magic isn't the spells Nikika casts to, say, make sure Nagisa's crush notices her new haircut. The real magic unfolds as Nikika observes, learns, and begins to experience human empathy herself.
So the source material is really emphasizing that this is about profound connection.
And self-acceptance through friendship.
Yeah. I wonder if that contrast will be played up for comedy. Like, Akika can conjure a perfect rainstorm, but she can't figure out why Nagisa is crying over a misunderstood text message.
It has to be. I mean, that juxtaposition of high-powered literal magic versus the mundane, crippling anxiety of a first crush. That's the core of the humor in the heart.
It makes the lessons learned feel profound, precisely because they're being learned by someone who should be beyond all these mortal concerns.
Totally. It resonates with anyone who remembers what it was like to feel that confusing maelstrom of adolescent feelings. It's a necessary, kind counterbalance to the toxicity we just discussed in AIDOL.
Okay, so from psychological horror and heartfelt emotional growth, let's pivot one more time to the delightfully absurd.
Here we go.
Our final title is Say Hello to Mr. Wallaby, penned by Marum Goshika. And the tone here is just pure, unadulterated whimsy, pitched squarely as an all-ages adventure that prioritizes charm above all else.
This is the series that tests the limits of suspension of disbelief, and I mean that in the most complimentary way possible.
It has to, given the premise. A Japanese professor is deep in the Australian bush on a research expedition, presumably something, scientific and high-minded, when his quest for knowledge is interrupted in the most literal way possible.
A wallaby falls directly onto him from the treetops. It's the inciting incident, the slapstick meet-cute, that immediately tells you this story is going to defy logic.
But it's not just any wallaby.
No, it is not just any wallaby. This is where the genre mashup gets truly bizarre and, frankly, fantastic.
So we are told this wallaby, Mr. Wallaby, is highly cultured, an otaku, a devoted fan of Japanese media and culture, and has a specific driving passion for reading the ancient warrior code of Bushido.
That's the key selling point. You have this small hopping creature embodying the high ideals of samurai honor and, aesthetic passion.
How does a wallaby even become an otaku who reads Bushido?
We don't know. And we probably don't need to know. The comedy comes from the clash between his marsupial reality and his internalized warrior spirit.
But doesn't that risk becoming too silly? I mean, a wallaby reading Bushido, how does the source material suggest they keep that absurdity grounded enough to sustain a whole series?
Well, the grounding element is the professor and the wallaby's dream. Mr. Wallaby's entire goal is actually pretty profound. He wants to experience the wonders of Japan.
Oh, okay.
So the professor, maybe out of guilt for being landed on, or maybe just charmed by this absurdly well-read creature, takes him under his wing. And the story, therefore, becomes a structured cultural exchange narrative.
I see. So the Bushido isn't just a funny quirk, it's his motivation for cultural immersion. He wants to experience the land that birthed the noble code he studies.
Precisely.
So the professor and the Wallaby embark on this journey where every single interaction is going to be a massive fish out of water scenario, just multiplying the comedic opportunities.
You got it. Mr. Wallaby will interpret everyday Japanese life through the strict, dignified lens of the samurai. Imagine him trying to navigate a crowded Tokyo train or a convenience store.
Applying Bushido ethics to selecting a snack.
Yes, the vibrancy of the storytelling and the engaging visuals that the publisher highlights, they're going to be crucial to carrying that warmth and igniting a genuine sense of wonder. It's meant to be a title that makes you smile simply by existing.
It sounds like a perfect piece of escapism.
And
And looking at all three of these titles together, this lineup shows Kodansha's confidence in very high-concept pitches across the spectrum. They're refusing to settle for, generic retreads.
if we connect this to the bigger picture, this is a signal that successful publishing now really relies on unique twists.
Yeah.
We cover the high-tech, supernatural darkness and piercing social critique of AIDOL, the universally relatable, heartwarming, emotional journey of NakiNagi. And now, the quirky, cross-cultural comedy of Say Hello to Mr. Wallaby. It's a comprehensive and aggressive opening slate for the season.
What's fascinating here is how much work those single bizarre twists are doing to define the genre. Without the electrical grid manipulation, AIDOL is just a celebrity thriller.
Right.
Without the Bushido-loving Wallaby, the final title is just a travelogue.
And without the witch who needs to learn empathy, NakiNagi would simply be a standard high school romance.
Yeah.
Each central premise serves a real, functional purpose, not just a gimmick.
It lets the creators explore themes that would be inaccessible in a straight genre piece.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean for you, the reader? It means fall 2026 is shaping up to be an incredibly exciting season for manga fans everywhere.
I'd say so.
You absolutely need to clear some serious shelf space because these titles don't just sound like filler. They sound like potential cornerstone series driving conversations for the next few years.
And remember, this is just the first wave. We were clued in that Kodansha is expected to drop even more license announcements through January 9.
So this is just the start.
This opening salvo is aggressive, but we should anticipate a seasonal deluge of equally intriguing titles over the next few weeks.
Before we wrap up this deep dive, here's a thought for you to mull over. We've seen three distinct, wildly creative genre blends. The admirer whose obsession controls the entire electrical grid, the powerful witch who needs a human friend to learn empathy, or the Bushido-loving otaku wallaby traveling to Japan. Which of those concepts, in terms of sheer inventiveness and risk, presents the most creative boundary push?
That's a great question.
Personally, I think it's hard to beat the wallaby who knows Bushido, just because it's the most unexpected and, the hardest to make stick. Keep your eyes peeled for those further announcements, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.